Forgiveness is such a strange thing. Do you know what it is to forgive?
If we want to change our reality, we must change our energy. I definitely think the world has a lot of problems.
Yeah, the world is, I think most people are a little bit backwards in the way they think right now.
Well, I mean, just think about how we can't seem to get out of war or eradicate that to any point. There's a division.
There's just a ton of people, and from my opinion, the biggest problem is that no one is actually even trying to get along.
We have that war in Palestine, we have the Ukrainian-Russian war. The next war I think might be a water war, shortage of water and clean water access.
We sort of live in a culture that promotes competition and fighting amongst ourselves, even within our own company, let alone someone else's company, someone else's country, someone else's world.
I definitely think some of the top issues that are just so daunting is like poverty and hunger, people not being able to feed themselves and provide shelter for themselves.
We really glorify and make people heroes for winning a battle or fighting a battle.
So that's some issues. Also injustice with police brutality and people being thrown in prison over marijuana. I mean, that's a waste of jail space in my opinion.
We just promote constant competition with one another. And if we're going to keep creating more and more people to the point where there's 10 billion, 12 billion, if none of those 12 billion people want to get along, eventually, it's gonna end and it's not gonna be pretty.
Just all these things, and I don't know if that's gonna get solved overnight, but if more of us wake up, and not to sound woo-woo, but I definitely do believe in energy, just like this quote, if we shift our reality and we go more on that light path, I think that we can awaken other people's, like kind of when you're lighting a candle flame and you can inspire other people to do the same. Maybe they might go about it a little bit different on some of these topics, but I think the Republican and the Democratic thing is so just not really working, and there's the far left and then the far right and then there's the liberals and then there's the conservatives, but we need to kind of walk more of a middle path. I feel like blending all these opinions together and finding a common ground. I think common ground will get us somewhere.
Why haven't you told her what you feel about her?
To solve the problem, God. If I knew that, I wouldn't be selling t-shirts.
I'm all about a fresh, clean slate.
I would say what the world needs more than anything is, I'm just gonna go really maybe a little bit farther left than most people want to, but just forgiveness. Gotta forgive yourself, gotta forgive everyone else.
Not to piggyback too much off of brilliant Jimmy in there, my coworker in there, but he did say forgiveness, and I want to say forgiveness for what we've done and forgiveness of what our ancestors done and stolen land and all this stuff, and it's like, let's just forgive the wrongs of the past so we can start a fresh, clean slate.
Sometimes it's easier to forgive your enemies than it is to forgive your own friends. And the hardest people to forgive are the ones that you love.
Just hold on to the grudge, and that doesn't hurt the person that you're holding the grudge against. It internally eats up your own soul.
I think if we could just kind of not forget what happened, we don't want to forget history because we don't want to live in ignorance. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people say ignorance is bliss. I disagree with that because I feel like you should know exactly what's going on. And even if the media is blowing things up and not being very truthful, because we all know that there's always many sides to the story, you shouldn't live in fear ever. Your voice should be heard, you should be seen, but we can't forget what happened in the past, because what happened in the past is not going to change, but we can change what's going to happen in the future.
I'm Jimmy. I'm 47. I grew up in Ohio. I spent most of my life in Europe, and then I now am living back in the States in New Mexico and working for the Earthship company.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Manon St. Germain, and I'm the artist behind this mural right here. Yeah, who I am as an individual. I feel like I'm meant to live in community in a collective sense, almost like a tribal sense. I'm 30 now, so my entire 20s have been very nomadic. I've always been poor, not had a lot of money, but I've always had the drive to get it done. And so I think we make a lot of excuses in this life. And so we really don't know if we have another life after this one, so we really need to make the impact now, whatever that is. So just follow your passions, follow your dreams.
Yeah, I came here about 3 years ago to do the Earthship Academy. I had read about Earthships online and was just interested. After the pandemic, I kind of wanted to do something new. So I was kind of just drawn here. And once I was here, I was really surprised by everything in New Mexico. It was, call me ignorant, but I thought New Mexico was a desert. And then I got out here and it is a desert, but there is really a ton of beautiful things and really beautiful people, and it's just quiet. And I'd been a city dweller since the age of 17, so I had just really loved that silence. And so I just found a way to come back out here.
My biggest passion is creating spaces for people so they feel welcome and seen. So whether that's me working at this Earthship Visitor Center or in another capacity of hospitality.
It's complicated. It's not that complicated.
What it's doing is it's trying to just take a step in the right direction, keep people from over-consuming, to be conscious of what you're consuming, and to just try to reuse some of the things that we all consume.
Yeah, I think Mike Reynolds, the architect, wanted to create something that was like autonomous homes.
Just about reusing things that are really well produced, quality items, bottles, cardboard, tires. They are better products than a lot of the things we use in actual building. So to take those things and give them another life outside of throwing them in a landfill, even things like cans and bottles that we say are recyclable, most of them just end in a landfill or in the ocean. So this is a way, again, to just do my part and kind of get rid of some of that.
He says we're not partnering with the utility company, we're partnering with the sun. And so the sun is a natural phenomena, and what I say is no matter what your religious point is, your belief system, your financial standpoint, whatever it is, we can't argue that the sun's going to rise and set every day. And so that is something that we can be in alignment with to keep these homes nice and warm and cool, and they need to be cool and to get all your basic needs met and then some. So
whether you drive a car or you don't drive a car, tires are used in the production of everything. So if we can just take responsibility for a share of those tires and be like, okay, that's one thing that we can do to help everyone, help ourselves as well.
But you don't have to be scared. She feels the same way you do. I don't know.
Do you know there's just one thing that evil can't stand? That's forgiveness.